Hello, welcome back. I'm just getting the video ready right now. All right, so let's look at absolute value. So let's understand what absolute value is. Let's look at this example problem. It says Mr. Bartholomew asks students to plot a number on a number line between 10 and negative 10. So we have a number line between negative 10 and 10, or 10, negative 10. Diego plots a point at negative 8. So here's Diego's point right here. Lily plots a point at 8. Here's Lily's point right there. Whose point is further from 0? Or sorry, how far away the points from each other? Whose point is further from 0? So to answer the first question, how far away are the points from each other? We're going to learn how to do this quickly when we subtract positive and negative numbers. But for now, we're just going to count the distance between Diego and Lily's point. So here are negative 8. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so the points are 16 away from each other. So the answer to that first question is 16. Whose point is further from 0? Okay, so now I'm going to count the distance from each point to 0. And I'm just going to count until we get there. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the distance between just these two is 8. Now the same thing for Lily. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that's how I was just counting, but it's still the same as the distance. So now the distance between 0 and Lily's point is 8 again. So whose point is further from 0? Well, the answer is the same, that there is no big or large distance in this case, because they're both 8. This is an example of absolute value. Let's look what absolute value is. The absolute value of a number is the distance away from 0 on the number line. It is always positive because it refers to distance. So look at this word here, always positive. When you take the absolute value of any number, it's always going to be positive. So negative 5 is read as 5 units away from 0. So an example here is that negative 5 is equal to 5 because it's 5 units away from 0. Start at 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The absolute value of 5 is 5. What we were doing up here, when we were counting the distance between Diego and 0, well, we were saying the absolute value of negative 8. That equals 8. Same when we did this is distance between 0 and 8 for Lily, the absolute value of 8 is equal to 8. Notice that all the absolute value really tells us is that how large the number is when I'm returning to 0. So negative 8 returning to 0 is just 8. Negative 5 returning to 0, that's just 5. 5 returning to 0 is 5. And 8 returning to 0 is 8. And one quick cheating way of looking at it is that if I have the absolute value bars around a negative number, I convert it to a positive number. If I start at a positive number, well, it's still positive. So let's look. So this one says, use the number line below to plot points A through E. So first I have to take the absolute value of negative 3. Well, like I said, that little cheating method I said was if I have absolute value bars around negative number, well, I would just take the positive number or the positive equivalent, which would be 3. So point A, since point A is 3, that's point A right there. That's just telling me that the negative 3 is 3 spaces away from 0. So absolute value of negative 9, well, the distance between negative 9 and 0 is just 9, positive 9. So here's point B. So pause the video and see if you can do the other 3 on your own. right? Well, let's go ahead and try it. So the absolute value of 2, well, remember, that's just the positive equivalent, or really the number didn't get changed at all. So C is 2. D, negative 1 and 1/2. Well, remember, absolute value bars, you just drop that negative sign. That's 1 and 1/2. This even works with fractions. So 1 and 1/2, that's 1, then go 1/2. So there's point D. E, 6, well, that just equals 6. So there's E. Hope this is making sense. All right. Take some time to catch up on your notes if you need to. And go down to the next few questions. Gonna have you guys try some on your own. Plot a point on each number line below so the two values combine to make 0. Then write a real life example in questions 3 through 4. I'm going to do 1 and 3. I'm going to see if you guys can do 2 and 4. Number 1. So plot a point. Okay, so I'm trying to see if I can find a number. If I add this number to another number, it would be 0. Well, up here, just like 8, negative 8, and 8, put those together, that makes 0 because they're both equal distance from 0. So I need to basically just act like there's a mirror here between at 0 and find out, well, where is the mirrored part of A? Well, here, this number perfectly cancels out because if I take the absolute value of this number, maybe this is maybe negative 4, I'm guessing. Negative 4. Excuse me. Oh, I can't write today. Would be 4. So I need to have another 4 over there. Again, I don't know if that's 4 exactly, but I'm just going to pretend it is. $35 is deposited into a bank account. Write a real life question. Please 4. So I think I'm not looking at the instructions. I apologize. I'm not sure what the instructions are asking us to do. But if $35 are deposited into a bank account, well, that means that you lost $35. Or at least you don't have, I mean, you didn't lose it, but you deposited that money, so you're losing it. But to the bank, well, they gained $35. Absolute value of negative 35 is 5. All right, so see if you can pause the video and do number 2 and 4 on your own. So we're going to unpause it there. And again, I'm just going to make it pretend there's a mirror here. What will cancel out this number? Again, I'm not sure exactly what this is. Maybe it's there's 4, there's 8. Halfway between that would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 4. Well, it's not even quite 6. I'm just going to pretend it's 6. Again, we don't have to, but if I just took the mirror over there, that would be the reflection. So that number, you call it negative 6 or whatever you want to call it, that would cancel out because absolute value of negative 6 is 6. A scuba diver submerges and travels 57 feet below sea level. Well, he travels 57 feet down, but to anyone looking up, or anyone on the, like at the top of the boat of the surface of the water, he would have gone down negative 57 feet. That's because 57 is equal to the absolute value of negative 57. Okay? All right, let's look at addition. Look at adding integers. This one says to use the number line to model and solve the addition problems below. Okay, I thought I wasn't recording for a second. I am. That would, I hate that I've done that so much where I've thought I was recording and I wasn't. Hasn't happened this time, thank goodness. Use the number line to model and solve the addition problems below. First one says negative 1 plus 4. So, oh, actually, let's look at this example problem here. This one says negative 3 plus 8. So with these problems, they're trying to teach you how to use negative numbers to add together a negative number and a positive number. So here, the first number is negative 3. So if I start at 0, and always start at 0, unless it tells you otherwise, to start at 0, I'm going to go back 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Here I am right there. And then it says add 8. So after I go back, it's 3 spaces, I'm going to go forward 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So -3 plus 8, well, where did I end at? I ended at 5. So this is equal to 5. So if you need to pause and think about that or rewind it and watch it again, you can. In the meantime, I'm going to go down, do 1 and 3, and see if you guys can do number 2 and 4. So this first one says -1 plus 4. So that means I go back 1. So I go, okay, that's -1. And then I go forward 4 plus, because that's plus 4. Remember, negative is going left, positive is going right. So now I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's plus 4. So where did I stop at? I stopped at 3. So -1 plus 4 equals 3. Okay, now I have something that looks sort of similar. So the first part is -1. So since -1, I'm going left. So start at 0, -1. Now it tells me to go add a -4. So adding a -4, well, that means even though it says to add, I have a negative number. So if I'm adding a negative number, I'm still going left because the number is negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So -1 is 1 this way. -4 is another 1, 2, 3, 4. Where did I stop? I stopped at -5. So -1 plus -4 is a -5. So pause the video and see if you can do number 2 and 4 on your own. Okay. So let's see how you did. 1, I go 1 to the right. That's a positive number, so that's adding 1. Then -4, I remember that since it's a negative number, I'm going to the left now. So now I go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left. That's -4. And where did I stop at? -3. So -1 plus a -4 is -3. Hopefully this one was the easiest one, but let's find out. 1, well, it's a positive 1, so I start at 0 and I go 1 to the right. Plus 4, that's a positive 4, so I go 4 to the right again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And where did I stop at? Well, that's a positive 5, so I just write 5. Remember that if you see a number with no sign in front, you always assume it's positive. So there's the answers. I hope that made sense. 5 here, explain any additional patterns that you noticed from the problems above. Well, again, I hope you guys remember that positive is right on the number line. Negative is left on the number line. Another pattern that you might have noticed is that -1 plus 4, well, that is the same as 4 minus 1. And the reason I know that is because addition is commutative. What that means is that I can switch these two numbers over the plus sign and I still have the same problem. For example, if I switch 4 plus a -1, well, that's the same as a 4 minus 1. 4, when I add a negative number, that's the same as saying 4 minus 1. That's 3. Same down here. Oh, not this one. This one. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to do that one. Okay. Let's look at this little hint box. If the two values have the same sign, then blank and use the same sign. So the same, if the two values have the same sign, then you can just add two numbers together and use the same sign. For example, a positive plus a positive is a positive number. 6 plus 5 is 11. Or negative number plus a negative number is a negative number. Example is -6 plus -5 is -11. So if two values have the same sign, here they both 6 and 5 both have positive number, I get a positive number. -6 and -5 has negative sign, I get a negative number. If the signs are opposite, then subtract and take the sign of the greatest absolute value. What they're saying here, and this is important, I know people get mixed up, 6 plus a -5. So I subtract these two numbers. 6 minus 5 is 1. Because 6 is greater, I take the sign that 6 had. Remember, if I don't have a sign, I just assume it's positive. So 6 is greater, so I take the positive sign from there. Here, the opposite happens, but I get the opposite number or opposite sign. -6 plus 5 is a -1. So again, I subtract 6 minus 5 is 1. But since 6 is bigger, I take the sign from the bigger number. I get a -1. So again, if you get something out with the opposite signs, like -6 plus 5, I just subtract. Okay, 6 minus 5 is 1, but I take the sign from 6 since that's the biggest number. I think we're going to get to do some more examples like this in just a second. Let's see here. Yes. So in the next video, we'll do these examples together, and we'll get to practice together with the answers. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys on the next one. And this is the awkward part where the teacher ends the video awkwardly.